Hey, party people. Welcome back to another episode of the Tried and Tested podcast. I am your host, Tracy. And if you're not familiar with this show, this is a dating and relationship podcast where I talk about all things that relate to dating, that relate to relationships, that relate to the mistakes that we've all made. When I have my guests on here, they give their insight. I ask questions. I pick their brains. But essentially, this is just really all about everything dating and relationship that we want to know about, that we want to talk about. Um, a lot of these situations, we've all been there. If we haven't been there, we don't want to get there. So we're just, we're working together and we're learning, and it's just a good time. So, thank you for tuning in to another episode. And today, I'm going to be talking about heartbreak for singles, right? Um, I think this is something that happens a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And I think it's kind of weird because you wonder, like, how are you possibly single, but you're going through or you went through a situation that resulted in heartbreak? And I'm talking about situationships and things that occur where, like, it takes you time to get over a person, right? It takes you time to get over a situation, but it's like you never actually were officially in one. And it makes me wonder. So I actually I had the topic already, but in church today, my pastor spoke about something that he was saying, fellas, like, if you see a girl, you see a woman, and you are like, hey, like, what's your number? And you take their phone number in an effort to kind of connect with them and communicate with them, that is already opening the door for those type of emotions to form, right? And so I'm like, I completely agree. 100,000% I agree. And then I started thinking more, and I'm just like, well, why do these things happen, right? It's kind of like, because I feel like, there are people who are not in a relationship with a person, but they're delusional. And so they decide or they try to kind of, like, justify their behaviors and whatnot. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about situations where people are essentially, like, I would say men or women, they're non-committal. They don't want to commit to a relationship, but they behave in a way like they're in it, right? And then afterwards, when it's over, they're not held to any standard because in their mind, like, oh, we were just friends, or oh, we were just, like, everything was, and it's a lie, right? And so that's where I got this topic from, heartbreak for singles, right? And it just kind of was making me wonder, like, but why? Like, why would you do that, right? And I'm just like, and I'm literally trying to figure out, like, why would people do that, right? Um, I know that there's situations where, like, let's say a man is trying to court a woman or date a woman, and she may not be interested, and maybe she may be lonely or bored or broke, and so she may entertain a man, which is not good to do. That's something I used to do back in the day, but I didn't think anything was wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like, it was fun. But of course, it was a possibility that it could go somewhere. I think anytime a female enters into a situation, not anytime, but I think a lot of times when a female will enter into a situation, it's because you have a hope, and there's like there's a desire that maybe this will be the one, even if it's just a phone number, right? Because you never know where it's going to turn out. But neither here nor there. So like I said, I was just trying to figure out, like, what would make a man or a female, like, begin a situation. Like, logically, we're not dumb, right? We know what it takes to get into a relationship. We know what it takes to form, certain types of connections and stuff. So what is causing so many single people to be in these situationships? These emotional shackles, if you will call it. What would make somebody, go through that whole process, and then it's just like, end it without being held accountable, right? So I think like is it like cowardly behavior? Like I don't really know. I don't know. But I started to like, to think about like what it could be. And I think that a lot of people are, whether you're going through a breakup, whether you're just somebody that's so hungry for love, whether it's somebody that's just like, I don't know, confused. But I really like in my mind, I sat down and I was like, man, like if I'm living my life and I'm doing what I have to do, right? Why would I open up a situation that I had no intention to pursue fully? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I don't know. And this is where I think there's a disconnect between men and women in relationships, because it's like, for what? Like, it's almost like, to me, it's almost wicked, right? Like, I'm thinking if I'm completely single, like, why would I now go and, mind you, find a man who didn't pursue me? Why would I now go look for a man, you know, begin to pursue him, give him my phone number, he didn't ask for it, and then try to build a friendship, and then it's kind of like the friendship goes left into more of like a I'm getting to know you phase? Because I think that men and women, in my opinion, men and women typically are not real friends after a certain age. And that certain age is usually around college. Like, so by the time college is wrapping up, men and women are not friends. And the reason why I believe that is because, or actually after college, but not in certain situations. So like, let's say you work with someone, you guys can end up being friends, because essentially friendship takes a lot of time, right? It takes spending a lot of time together. So therefore, when you're in college, you're able to make friends because you guys have classes together 3 days a week for a couple of hours for a whole semester or for a whole year. So that's how like you're able to build friendship. Same thing at work, right? But I truly believe that like, I don't know what it is, but like if you as a grown up, as an adult, if you literally decide that, oh, I've met this person, I'm not interested in them at all, I just want to be their friend, but you pursue them in a way where you're talking regularly, okay? And not regularly like, okay, we talk every noonday for 10 minutes on our lunch break. Like, no. But I'm talking about regularly for hours. Like I said, it makes me wonder, like, what exactly mentally is going on with both parties. I don't think it's just one or the other. I think that, with both parties, because I think that as women, you probably should not just go with the flow, right? If there's a man that is occupying your time and it becomes a pattern, and a pattern is anything that happens, in my opinion, more than 3 times, right? Like if he done called you every other night, for that week, and you guys have talked for 3-4 hours, I think it's too much. I think that there needs to be clarity immediately, because I think that everyone is just too old to be wasting time, and I think everyone is too old to now be having these situations where, like I said, you get hurt. You're a single person. People will say that, oh, I haven't dated for 10 years. But how many people have you spoken to where you've, had that hope and that desire, like, oh my God, we're going to be together. And then it's like, it fizzles out, but you spent 6 months dealing with them. And like I said, I've been in that situation more than once. If you hear a noise, I'm popping bubble wrap. It is 3:30 in the morning. I'm not even sure why I'm up, but I just really this was something I thought about. So yeah, I truthfully believe that people just be, I don't know, like just doing too much. But I think that, like I said, people need to be held accountable, because I think that there's a lot of damaged people walking around, a lot of heartbroken people walking around, not because you've been single for 10 years, but because you've given your time and your emotion and your hope. And it's like it's like you were excited for something, you were ready for something, and it failed. And then I think that like it becomes a cycle, and people keep doing it in the name of, oh, we're just cool, we're just friends, and that's not really what it is. You know what I mean? And I think for the people who do that, for the people who decide that, hey, I wanna waste someone's time, because like I said, there's different types of friendships, right? If there was a man that I met, typically, if I wanted to be his friend, I wouldn't need to give him my phone number. Like, I'll just see you when I see you. And the more we talk, we begin to build that relationship. You know what I mean? And over time, you would become friends, but it's still like there will be boundaries and levels to it. Um, I think that the people who do this, right, like when they actively go after something or somebody that they know that they don't want, right, they're not dumb. They know what they're doing, right? Whether it's an ego boost, whether it's a selfish desire to make you feel like you're getting the emotional, whatever that you need. But I think it's unfortunate. I think it's very unfortunate. I think it's very wicked. And I think that people need to be very aware of their movements and what they're doing because it's not right. And on the other hand, I think that people should not freely allow their hearts to be broken. I don't think that you should give people access to you. You know, we're all very important. We're all people that deserve love. We deserve respect. And I think that even if you're not good at communication, I think if you have a situation where you don't know what's happening, if you don't want to ask, then just, cut communication. And if the person feels like, okay, I miss you, I want you, then maybe they'll be able to articulate what it is that they want from you. But I think that we need to not give people our time freely, especially if you go to church. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't, oh, it's my church brother, it's my church sister, so what? Like, I'll see you when I see you. But yeah, that's something that definitely, because like I said, we got a lot of people out here, your heart broken. And like I said, it's like it damages you. It's like you're single, yes, by law or by whatever standard, but your emotions have been hurt. Your defense, what is it? No, like your walls are going to get higher. And typically, I would say, after a breakup, I always recommend people like assessing what went wrong because it can't just be your partner. And even if it just was your partner, because you were with them, now there are things that may be wrong with you. And so I think that it's best to kind of assess the situation to see, to figure out how you've changed, because we change after every relationship, and figure out what negative things you've picked up, what negative things can affect you for the next relationship. But I don't think that people do that in situationships, right? And like I said, you just kind of like learn to move on. Like you get hurt and then you learn to kind of keep it moving. And I don't know. I think that it's weird, right? But anyway, let me know if you are someone that is single, somebody that has been single, somebody, that's whatever, and that you've been hurt, like you've been heartbroken, like not even just like, oh, I'm gonna forget about it tomorrow, but no, it took you a couple of weeks or a couple of months to really forget the situation, to really forget the person. Yeah. So if you are heartbroken single, you can feel free to email me. You can feel free to DM me on Instagram. All of my information will be in the description box. And I just thank you guys so much for listening. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And until next time, I will see y'all when I see y'all. Well, I won't see you actually, but actually you will, because I will start having my podcast like with actual visuals, with the guests that are coming on in the next couple of seasons or whatever. So yeah, all right, guys.